Woo, this is it. This is it, yo. This is the last one. This is the last video. I got 2 questions here. We gotta answer both of them in less than 10 minutes, okay? I'm not gonna say less than 5 minutes because I know that ain't gonna happen. But 10 minutes, okay, yeah, 10 minutes we can do. Maybe we do 5 minutes, but probably not. All right, so here we go. I like cookies, so we're gonna do the cookie company with chocolate chip cookies for $7 per pound and white chocolate cookies for $6 per pound. They have 4 pounds of chocolate chip cookies and want to mix in some white chocolate cookies, such that the resultant mix costs $6.75 per pound, right? So because the chocolate chip ones are most expensive at $7 per pound, and so if we add in some cheaper ones, then that'll lower the price, and so maybe some more people will buy it because we got a lower price, and because it's a mix. Everybody loves those mixes, right? Everybody loves the little variety packs with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That stuff's sweet. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's solve the problem. This is going to be a weighted average, right? So first we've got the chocolate chip cookies, okay? Chocolate chip cookies are $7 per pound. So we're looking at the prices here, right? So I got $7. Now that $7 per pound is going to be affected by how much of that you have, right? Because it's not just going to be a simple $7 plus $6 equals 675, because those two aren't going to be weighted the same. And so we're going to weight each of those based off of how much we put into it. And so if I put 4 of these in, okay, so that's the weighted average. So I'm going to weight it by 4. Now I need to find out how much of this one I need. I don't know how much. It's going to cost me $6, but I don't know how much that's going to be. And so then in front here, we're going to go 4 plus X, right? So this is the weighted chocolate chip cookies, and this is the weighted white chocolate cookies, and then this is the total average, right? So the total average comes from the total amount of cookies times the average cost. And so the weighted chocolate chip cookies come from the amount of chocolate chip cookies times its cost, and the weighted chocolate chip cookies comes from its weight times its cost. And so we put all those together, and we're hopefully going to get the answer. So we go 4 times 7, and that's 28. Yeah, I know my accent's probably changing as I go. I don't really care what my accent is. It's just going to keep going. So 28 plus 6x equals, we're going to go ahead and distribute this one. 675 times 4. In case you're not very good at math like me, you go 675 times 4, and you get 27. So we got 27 plus 675x. And so from this point we can solve. We can subtract the 6x. A lot of people like getting that by itself first, so that's what we're going to start with. So we got 28 equals 27 plus 0.75x. We're going to not divide. Divide. You're such a silly man. We're going to subtract the 27, and when we subtract the 27, we're going to get 1 equals 0.75x. We're going to divide by 0.75. And if I divide by 0.75, then what I'm going to get is 1 1/3. That's 4/3. And if you don't believe me, then you do it on your calculator. You go 1 divided by 0.75, and you get 1.3333333, which is 1 1/3 or 4/3. And so that way we're going to end up with this, and we're going to minimize, and we can go equals x. Now x, remember, is the weight of the white chocolate chip cookies. So you need 4/3 pounds, which is the same thing as 1.333, or 1 1/3 pounds of those white chocolate cookies. All right, so not too bad, right? Again, we're looking at the weight multiplied by the amount, the weight multiplied by the amount, the total weight multiplied by the average amount. And so if you watch the other video, you've probably seen that the same pattern happens over and over and over again. So here we go. This is the last question that I'm going to do on a video this year, unless I just go crazy with the final exam and just start making videos and that may happen. But here we go. We got Hussein. Hussein's grade is split into the following categories. 60% of his grade comes from tests, 25% comes from quizzes, and 15% comes from homework. So the following shows the grades he's gotten so far this term. He's got an 80%, a 75%, and 84 on tests, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm not going to read all those to you. Mr. Bauer, you really going to read all those? No, I'm not going to read all those to you. You can read those for yourself. So first it asks us to find the average test, quiz, and homework scores. So first we're going to find the average test score. Now we're going to assume that each of those has the same value for the test. And so we can just do a normal average. We're going to go 80 plus 75 plus 84, and we're going to divide it by 3. All right, so 80 plus 75 plus 84, and then we're going to divide it by 3, which gives us an average of 79.66666. So I'm going to go 79 point repeating sixes. All right, now I'm going to do the other two really quick because that part's easy. Woo, that was fast. Okay, so I got the quiz average and the homework average. They all ended up being 81. I don't know how that happened. I just made up those numbers. But oh well, such is life. We got 81 for each of those averages. So now the question is calculate his average for the term. And so his average for the term is going to be based off of the categories of the 60% for tests, 25% for quizzes, 15% for homework. So we're going to take the weighted average of the tests. So we're going to go test weighted plus the quizzes, which are weighted, and then the homework, which is weighted, and that will hopefully give us the total average. All right, so the test weighted, so I better write that as total average. So I'm going to change colors because all this blue is driving me nuts. So we're going to go weighted test was 79.666, okay, but then we got to weight it. Okay, now some of you say, well, Mr. Bauer, isn't that a 79.6%? Yeah, you can do this one of two ways. You can leave those as whole numbers, or you can weight it. You can turn it into the decimal. Now in class, we turned the percent into a decimal because really that's what you should do. So we're going to turn this into 0.7966666. We'll multiply it by its weight, which is 60%. And then we're going to add on the quizzes, which are 25%, and that's going to be multiplied by the 0.81, which is the quiz scores. And then we're going to add on 0.15%, and that's going to be multiplied by 81, which is the quiz scores. Now hopefully that's all going to add up to give me the total. Now the total weight here is going to be 1, right? Because that's 100%. We're going to have 100% of the values there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the math here. So we're going to go 0.60 times 0.796666. Okay, good enough. Plus 0.25 times 0.81 plus 0.15 times 0.81. We expect this to be pretty close to 80. Yeah, so 80.19999. So I'm going to say that that's pretty dang close. Sorry, that should have been 1 times the average. And so our final answer was 80.1, because I'm going to say that this rounds to 0.2. 80.2 equals the average for the term. Okay, so there we got our term average, which is multiplied by 1, so it stays the same. All right, so now we're going to take the last bit of information there. It says Hussein needs to get an 80% for the semester or he won't get to go snorkeling this summer. What grade does he need to get on the semester exam if the term grade counts for 75% and the semester exam counts for 25%? Okay, now before we solve that, actually no, we're going to run out of time, so I better solve that. So let's go on to part C. And so C, again, we're going to use weighted averages. I'm going to say the term average, so here's the weight for the term, times the term grade, which is 0.802, and then I'm going to add on the semester exam weight times the semester exam grade, which we don't know what that is. Yeah, equal to the average, which is, the total weight, which is 100%, so 1 times the average that we want. And we want him to get an 80%, so that's a 0.80. So now we should be able to do the math. We're going to go 0.75 times 0.802, which is going to give us a 0.6 0.015. That is a 6, by the way. Don't you dare tell me it's something else. 0.6015 plus 0.25x equals 0.80. So we're going to subtract the 0.6015, divide by the 0.25x, and we got 0.80 minus 0.6015, and then we're going to divide by the 0.25, and much as you would probably expect, you need something close to a 79. So x equals 79.4% is what he needs to get that 80%. All right, so there you go. Hopefully that makes sense and that's helpful for your homework or your schoolwork the next day. Ciao.